Kiyambu was a town which had very bad history. In fact, it had the worst history in our country. The murder in terms of rape, violence, it was well known. This town was not growing. The churches were not growing. Because of the bad reputation of the town, nobody wanted to come.
By the late 1980s, this distressed suburb of Nairobi had become one of the most dangerous and oppressive places in Kenya. Bars and illicit stills outnumbered churches and grocery stores. Fueled by a river of alcohol, Kiyambu's crime rate rose to worst in the nation. Nobody, especially women, dared venture out after dark. Civil servants routinely paid bribes to avoid assignments in Kiyambu. Despite years of effort in this town of 65,000, no church had ever been able to grow beyond a few dozen members. As one weary pastor put it, "We preach the gospel here, but the people don't get saved."
The Lord spoke to me and my wife back in 1988 and told us to come, that is Kiyambu, and to plant a church.
Itinerant ministers Thomas and Margaret Muthi weren't exactly thrilled when God called them to the town of Kiyambu. They knew church planting in this notorious ministry graveyard would not be easy. In fact, ministry colleagues in Nairobi thought the whole idea was crazy, and they didn't hesitate to say so. But the Muthis realized that to be successful, they would need to identify and confront the source of Kiyambu's spiritual oppression.
You find the Bible saying in Ephesians 6:12, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities. So our problem was not the people in the town. Our problem was, what is the devil doing to the people? Why is he keeping them the way they are?
For 6 months, the Muthis committed themselves to fervent prayer and diligent research.
So we asked God, what's the root cause? We prayed, we fasted. The Lord showed us a spirit of witchcraft resting over the place.
They discovered that many of the things going on in Kiyambu were linked to a powerful woman named Mama Jane. Although she pretended to be a Christian and even called her divination house Emmanuel Clinic, her business was pure witchcraft. Mama Jane's clientele included the town's top business and political leaders who came to have their fortunes told. Realizing that Kiyambu was in the grip of powerful, evil forces, the Muthis began to press in to God.
And at the end of 6 months, we got an assurance in our spirits. The spiritual power over the town had been broken.
Seizing this window of opportunity, Thomas conducted his first outdoor crusade. By the end of the first week, more than 200 people had committed their hearts to Christ. Soon, healings and conversions were commonplace. When the municipal hall could no longer accommodate the crowds, Thomas moved his congregation into the basement of a nearby grocery store. Filled with round-the-clock intercession, it was promptly dubbed the Prayer Cave. Distressed by these developments, Mama Jane began to counterattack through targeted witchcraft. A thick oppression descended upon prayer and worship services. It remained until elders discovered Mama Jane's handiwork outside the church. Realizing they were dealing with demonic influences, the believers took authority over the situation.
Just raised up our hands one morning, and we prayed that she either gets saved or leaves town.
Within days, Mama Jane was stripped of her power. Within weeks, she packed up and left town.
Once this power of witchcraft, the principality that was over Kiyambu, was broken, then the presence of God started to hover around the town.
The entire atmosphere changed. Where once people used to be afraid to go out at night, Kiyambu now enjoys one of the lowest crime rates in the country. Local bars have been closed and remodeled into churches.
The town has flourished. We have seen actual change. And with the presence of God, of course, there comes a lot of changes. Favors, prosperity. That's what we are seeing today.
Now that Kiyambu has a good name, people from Nairobi are flocking to get houses there. The population is up by 30%. There has also been a dramatic increase in the number of conversions. The Kiyambu Prayer Cave, otherwise known as the Word of Faith Church, has expanded to more than 5,000 members. Not bad in the town where congregations previously averaged only 30 to 40 people.
We are seeing God do great things in this town. We are seeing lives changed. Criminals coming to Jesus, prostitutes, robbers, all kinds of people coming to Jesus.
As Thomas is quick to point out, the recipe for continued success must also include prayer.
Prayer is communicating with God. It's not simple. It's talking to God, who has the power to change situations. Now, there is so much prayer in this place that helps us. That way it helps us to not only maintain what we gain, but also to gain more ground.
Each day, more than 400 intercessors gather to pray. The routine begins at 6 a.m. They call it their morning glory. This is supplemented by Friday night prayer vigils and Wednesday evening gatherings called Operation Prayer Storm.
Prayer generates a power that is extraordinary. It's a power that transforms. I've seen it transform the city. If God can do it in Kiyambu, He can do it anywhere in the world.